All right, so this is our backend database. As you can see, we have all the tables from phase 2. We select from the movies. You can see that we have all those movies. We expand the title, you can see that they're correct. Select users, it's the same thing. You can see that we have all the users from phase 2, and ratings is the same as well. You can see that we have all the properties that we need. Now, since we wrote ours in Visual Studio, we can run the project. And on load, we won't have anything here, so we just hit filter, so we get all of the movies with all the ratings from 0 to 5. So now that we have all the movies here, we can filter based on the rating. So if we only wanted from 0 to 3, we can filter that. And you see it did update there. And now we've changed this back to 5. Do a movie like Toy Story. You can filter there. So these are all the movies that were named Toy Story or had Toy Story in their title. And then if we have tags like comedy, you can see that it did get all the movies that had the tag comedy in there.
I'm going to explain a little bit about the front end of our project. We built our project using C3. It's a JavaScript library similar to that's built on top of D3, which makes being graphs fairly easy. You can go here to console and see quickly how the front end of our site works. We go into the home.js. We have a load charts function that will generate both of these charts. And then here we tell it that we want a bar graph. We can tell the ratio of how thick the lines are. But when we run the filter, it gets the data back and updates an area that's hidden on the page. Goes through each of the genre ratings and counts and loads the respective charts with the data, which updates it in that real time. C3 also allows us to take out, if we want to, comedy is obviously an outlier here. So if we click comedy, it will actually respan the chart without comedy in it. We can re-add it back in. And yeah.
So we just want to show the debug process of how the filtering works. So let's assume we're going to keep it through. We'll change the rating to 0 to 3. Let's say if we want the comedy movies from 0 to 3. I'm going to put a breakpoint on the code first so we can go through and see. So if I hit filter with no title, just comedy tag and 0 to 3 rating. Once we hit the filter button, it posts back to our server code, which is written in C#. And you'll see that the minimum rating we posted back is 0. The max that we specified was 3 from the slider thing. The title, we didn't provide one because we just wanted all the comedy movies, so the tag is comedy. So those are all the parameters from the control panel that we needed. We have a class called business logic, which just basically looks up stuff in the database, and it's got a function on it that we pass into. So if we step into there, we're going to make a list of movies to return back. We used a framework called Entity Framework, which is built into C#, and it's a thing hosted by Microsoft. Basically allows the database tables to be mapped into objects in the code so that we can use them and reference them directly. So we instantiate a new instance of the database, which has all of the movies. So if we step into that part of it, we'll see that the context.movies has all of the, it has all of the movies from the database, and then we're going to filter it down. And this syntax is called link. Basically allows us to include multiple things that we want to output. Obviously, we need the genre and ratings to determine the count and stuff like that. And we're also going to filter all the movies by the title if we provided one. and also the tags. We wanted comedy, so we're going to look through all of the tags and find where the tag info's content contains whatever tag we passed in this case comedy. And that will return an entire list from the database. So that's going to take a bit because there's a lot of movies. And once that finishes getting the data from the database, the result that we have is 58 movies. And so once we return from this function, we make a new model so that the data is mapped correctly and easy to use on the view side, and then we return a partial view that updates the chart data. So if we continue that, we'll see that this got updated to contain just these movies that was returned from the server. And there's our project.